So just to be clear, attachment to slavery and the Confederacy has nothing to do with it. It's just your pocketbook that matters. Just to be clear on what your principles are. I'm just asking. Here's one more, an article, Legal Insurrection, be up in the show notes today. We love Legal Insurrection, such a great blog. William Jacobson, by the way, the founder of the blog, under total attack from deranged lunatic leftists who hate him because he tells the truth. Showing you again what a joke cancel culture is. Legal Insurrection, Yale dismisses demands to change its name following a cancel Yale campaign by Mike LaChance at Legal Insurrection. Read this article. I want you to read it for one reason. I want you to understand deeply, embedded into your soul, woven through the fiber of your being, what a joke and a fraud cancel culture is. You know cancel culture, which says really when anyone the left doesn't like, conservatives, Republicans, or even Democrats who don't toe the party line, said something in their past, a tweet from 10 years ago, a skit in a comedy act that was really in poor taste or whatever it was, or maybe not, or whatever it may be. They just don't like it. They must be canceled, fired, humiliated, terminated. You know cancel culture. Some of you sadly have been victims of it. Cancel culture for statues is any statue that has anything to do with the Confederacy and by default slavery. Those people have to be torn down too, which is fascinating because Jesse Kelly, I have to hat tip him, a radio host, started this, did it kind of as a joke, but it turned out to be something serious because the left is a joke. And of course they don't get it. He started this cancel Yale campaign. Why Yale? Because the namesake of Yale was a slave owner. So just to be clear, cancel culture frauds out there, because you're all frauds. And I think you know that. It's why you wake up in the morning, clawing at your faces, screaming at the skies every day and putting your pink hats on. You all know you're frauds. If your principles, and Joe, I'm just asking a question again. I'm just asking a question. If your principles are anything attached to the scar of slavery on this country must be canceled, forgotten about, and erased from history forever, then why are you not canceling Yale and renaming it? It's named after a slave owner. Joe, is it not a fair question?
That is a fair question, Dan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Why not change the name? I don't understand. If we can change the name, if cancel culture wants to change the name of military bases that have been named that way for, decades, because some of them have the names of Confederate generals, then why are we not canceling Yale's name too? It's a slave owner. He was a slave owner. Now, his history is more complicated than simply owning slaves, but that's not the left's premise, Joe. The left's premise is we don't care if history is complicated. If you owned a slave or lived in the South, you're bad, and you must be erased from history. That's their premise, not mine. That's their premise. I agree, history is complicated. Judging people in history by today's standards of civility and decency is a mistake because you'll be canceled in 50 years as standards evolve again as well. That's why it's called history. We should embrace our history, battle scars and everything, literally. Literally battle scars, not literally embrace. I hate the word literally because it's literally overused the most. But that's not what the left said. The left said, we're not talking about the complicated life of Mr. Yale. He was a slave owner. But now they don't want to cancel Yale. Matter of fact, Yale, a liberal university, saying, no, we're not going to get rid of her name. Joe, why would that be? Why do you think that'd be? Let me just suggest to you, maybe, Joe, that the name Yale, follow me here, is a very valuable signaling mechanism. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You think there may be a lot of money invested in those four letters? I would say yes. If you are a graduate of Yale,
Yes.
I'll ask you a simple question to show you what a powerful signal Yale is. Those four letters. Would you rather, and I got this from a podcast once talking about the signaling effect of higher education in contrast to the training effect. No one let that overcomplicate things. Would you rather go into a job interview if you were never going to be caught either way? For, say, a computer programmer, would you rather go in with all the skills of computer programming and no education at all? A resume that says, whatever, I graduated with a GED. Or would you rather go into that interview if you knew you could fake it and no one would ever catch you with a fake resume saying you graduated from Yale with a bachelor's degree in computer science, but you didn't have the skills yet, what would you rather do? Many of you'd probably say, I'd rather go in with the degree from Yale and no skills rather than have the skills and no degree at all. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, higher education, sadly, has become largely a signaling mechanism and has absolutely nothing to do with the job skills you're going to have. Listen, I went to graduate school twice. I've got a BA, an MBA, and an MA. And I got to tell you, I rarely, if ever, used any of those skills in the Secret Service. The MBA I use now in business, to be fair, and I enjoyed my time in college and graduate school. I loved it. But do you see my point, Joe? That the degree is just a signaling mechanism? That's all it is. It's a signal that says, hey, I'm smart. I passed the test. Yeah, but do you know anything related to the job? I don't know. Nobody. Yale is an Ivy League school. That's a big signal. It's a bat signal. Hey, I'm really smart. If Yale had to change its name to Bag of Donuts University, all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, hey, no one's going to know Bag of Donuts University. They only know Yale. So interesting how when cancel culture affects the bottom line of a company whose goodwill is all in the 4 letters of its name, a liberal university, who would be bankrupted by those 4 letters disappearing, because now you'd have to tell everyone you went to Bag of Donuts University rather than Yale, and they'd be confused. All of a sudden, cancel culture is like, no. We're not interested in that anymore. The cancel culture Yale kids and everyone else are like, don't you dare change your name. I paid a lot of money to say I graduated from Yale. It's a signal. I don't want to say Bag of Donuts University. So just to be clear, attachment to slavery and the Confederacy has nothing to do with it. It's just your pocketbook that matters. Just to be clear on what your principles are. I'm just asking.
You just heard Dan Bongino.